Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good morning, welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. So we are joined by Oscar this morning, who is the director of Lucia's Wine Bar and Restaurants and Cut and Craft Restaurants. So thank you ever so much for joining us this morning, Oscar. How are you doing?
Well, thank you. Great to be here. I'm very good. Enjoying the beautiful sunshine coming along our way. So then now we see the light ahead, the dates that we can open our restaurant. So all good, all good.
Good. So can you start off by telling us a little bit about your restaurants? Can you tell us, can you introduce yourself properly maybe and tell us where your restaurants are and what your offering is to your clients?
Sure. We are operator of the Lucia Wine Bar. Lucia Wine Bars has been founded in 12 years ago in Swinegate. When there was a swine flu at the time, that was in York Centre, and it was a very successful restaurant that followed with opening in Beverley 2011, and then another branch in Harrogate at 2014, and 2018 with the addition of new concept, the steakhouse concept, which is called the Cut and Craft. Again, is located on St. Sampson's Square. We are White Rose group, and we employ just over 210 people, which makes us the second largest independent company located in York, and it's something that we're proud, and that's why we use the phrase of statement in our restaurants that we are local, proud, and independent.
Amazing. So, I mean, obviously over the last year, we've seen so many pubs and wine bars and restaurants, sadly called time for the last time. But you guys are doing completely the opposite. So can you tell us how the last year has been for you?
Well, I think in simple terms that during the COVID time, we just spent about £2 million in our renovation in Harrogate branch, and also that investing to Leeds City Centre, which is coming, we think September time, which is another £1 million project. We spent £800,000 in York makeover, and then about £700,000 in Harrogate turnover makeover in the recent months. We are proud to say that we invest all the money that we make from our businesses back into the businesses, and we think that this is a necessary way of going forward that makes us put in the better position in terms of when everything is get back to normal. We also invested heavily in our management training groups and everything. There are some benefits in here. It's just a difficult times, but we see this as an opportunity to move forward. I think there are a lot of good things has happened during the COVID as well. I think that most people have understood the value of the restaurants, how much that restaurants contributed to the society. Also, our employees simply understood that just sitting at home not a good thing, and the working is a good thing. Also, the public to understand that the restaurant is a big part of chain of to the retails and other side businesses that goes along with the restaurants and bars. So there are a lot of benefits within us. The COVID did show us that we are also what matters is the family and friends rather than money and everything else. So it's just there are some good things out of it, definitely.
Amazing. So tell us about the biggest challenge that you've overcome sort of during this time. That might seem like a silly question with you guys being in hospitality.
Well, I think if you can go back to the beginning when COVID has started, the uncertainty in the air was scary because we didn't know what was ahead, and that we have liabilities, we have responsibilities that we have to meet. we still had to pay the rent and all the outgoings. Even the restaurants are closed. That some of the landlords might not necessarily reduce the rent or give the free rent, and also that we still have to pay for the pension contributions, the national insurance contributions, and alongside with the other expenses that, and we because we didn't know how long this pandemic was going to last, that will have put a lot of stress on our accounts, as well as we just spent £800,000 on Lucia York renovation. This is back in January 2020, and then immediately when we opened, just 2 weeks later, that we had to close the restaurants in March. So obviously this is all money that we borrowed from banks and investors. So it was a very difficult time to not knowing the future. But with the government help, with the public support, especially our loyal customers are emailing us, texting us, supporting us through the various social platforms and saying that they are there for us. They will come back to our restaurant as soon as we're back open. And I think another amazing thing that we have seen a huge increase in voucher sales, which showed us that our customers do trust us and they see us as a strong, responsible company, that they can invest their money that might not necessarily get it back. That gives us the encouragement to pursue and be strong and just keep going forward. So those are the difficult times. We didn't want to redundant any of the member of staff. We didn't want to lose a member of staff. We also understood that it's their way of living, and we have a responsibility to make sure their mental welfare is in place. They have the support that they needed from the company. I mean, it was difficult at the beginning. It just undoubtedly was the difficult times that as a business owner I had. But now things change, and things change for the better. Yes, there's some restaurants are in trouble, and they couldn't make it to the light. But unfortunately, it goes back to the point where when you are running the business, you raise the question, how much did you invest in your business? How much did you invest in your customer clientele? How much you invested in technology? How much you invested in return customer? So I would never be disrespectful to anybody in that manner, but it is always what you invest, what you get kind of thing. So if you didn't have planned for emergency situations like that, if you didn't manage your cash flow better, if you've not been prepared for this sort of things, then of course the chances of you surviving it will be very slim. But unfortunately, some businesses had to close, and now that we are still strong standing here, and we're proud and we're very happy that as a local York company who created from nothing, made it to do this today, and yet not just surviving, also spending £2 million in the last year and a half to Harrogate to York, and now opening in Leeds. So we're very proud. I don't know if I'm talking too much. You can just stop me when I'm talking too much. So I don't know when to stop.
No, this is all, it's so interesting, and this is exactly what we want to share with people, you know, these kind of experiences. So, I mean, tell us about some of the wins that you can take away from the last year, some of the real wins that you have.
You mean after the opening the restaurants? I mean, what do you mean by that? Can you tell me more?
Like over the last year, you know, you guys have had, you know, so many positive things that you've had happen. You know, you've had the investment that you've made in the York restaurants. You've got the Leeds investment in place. You know, what's the biggest positive that you can kind of take from, you know, the opportunity that it's created you, I guess?
Well, I think as a business operator that the business, the biggest win that we can think of taking out of the COVID, that it puts us back in the negotiation in a better position to negotiate with the landlords. when we want to invest in Leeds. For example, we were finding it difficult to find a suitable location for us because of the rent. It's just astronomical. What they're asking for a square foot is just beyond belief. So that now that COVID has happened and the restaurants are closed, the retail offices are now getting empty. The people didn't go outside because of the lockdown. Now that we can negotiate better with the landlord, also that's on another thing, that the landlord has gained the trust of the companies that will survive from the pandemic, that also give them assurance that our company is strong. So it just shows the ultimately better negotiation in terms of the rent and the locations, and also the shows the public that we are a strong company. We invested back in people. We just want to keep continue, and ultimately that we would like to make the people of York too proud of us seeing growing within the UK, and I'm just so proud that if we can achieve that together with my business partner and my team, that would be the greatest thing. So there are a lot of wins that I can't say all of it, but yes, there's a lot of wins. But of course there are lots too.
I think you're right in terms of how, the people of York. I'm from York. I'm local. I eat in your restaurants, and I think there is that real camaraderie in that. People. Everybody loves Lucia's. That was, I know, the first one that I went to. Everybody loves Lucia's. So I think there's that real, everyone's behind you, and that you opening the next restaurant and seeing you expand and grow. I think that, yeah, absolutely. There's a whole army of people behind you guys cheering you on. For
yes,
sure.
There are other reasons that we believe on expansion. I'm not trying to be any big-headed or anything like this, but I really think that the Lucia does offer a genuine, good fresh food, as well as can-do attitude service, the location, the price point, and the atmosphere that we create to our customers. Lucia is a good brand alongside with the cut and craft. We are very genuine. There is no other simple way of saying it. We reply to every email in 1 hour. If the phone does ring 5 times, we apologize. We deal with every complaint. We talk to every member of customers comes to us, and when we make mistake, we genuinely put our hands up and say, look, we're sorry. We did terribly here. We don't give a customer complaint reference number. We don't create case numbers and things like this. We don't trying to be very politic in our answers to customers. We shake hands, we mop the floor, we clean the toilets, we do everything, and that's something to be proud, because we are very genuine. In all time, we are very genuine, and we just think that this genuine approach to our business should be appreciated in more locations, such as Leeds, Manchester, Edinburgh, Birmingham, perhaps in some other cities that we would like to invest in time. We just want to show to the hospitality industry that yes, the businesses can be commercial, and does not mean that when you expand, when you get bigger, it has to stay as commercial. We are claiming that the businesses such as ourselves that can grow and still remain personal to the location, to the people that they are serving, and the restaurant business and leisure business is about connecting with the customers, because they work hard for their money, and we cannot just take their money that if we don't think that if that doesn't deserve their hard-earning money, that everything that they spend at our restaurant, we just want to make them feel that I want them to tell that, saying that it's worth it. That's I think the nicest way of saying it. And people do respond. And how they respond, for example, when we did a Black Friday voucher sale, we sold 20,000 pounds worth of vouchers in just one day.
Wow.
And that's that's bigger than any large chain that can ever achieve. For a company at our size, we're very, very small business, but that the numbers that we did, the turnovers that we did, the sales that we did in just one day it just shows. It just shows that how much people do love us, and they supported us, and we sincerely do love them back. There's no other way of saying it.
Yeah.
We appreciated everything that they do for us. We appreciate everything that they add to us when they come to our restaurants day and night in the evenings, and when they wait for the restaurant tables and everything. We just simply appreciate the customers giving their money to us, and in return, we invested back in the UK, back in the local area. For example, the profits that we made through our businesses, we didn't go back. We didn't just invest it in somewhere in Monaco. We didn't go somewhere else in France. We just invested back in Leeds, which is next door.
Yeah.
And when we make money from Leeds, we'll invest it back in Manchester. And it just goes on. We invested back in business, back in people.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So tell me, so investing in people, so you guys have a team of over 200,
Yeah.
and you know the team, everybody that I've ever come into contact with who works for you guys, it's that whole experience that you get. You can tell how much everybody cares and appreciates, you know, every single client, every single customer who comes through the doors. It's such a lovely, warm experience, which is why I keep going back. You know, you guys have really developed a whole, you know, some raving fans. You know, people recommend you to everybody, and you know, we keep coming back, and you know, it's an absolute credit to your team. So how have your team been over the last year? How are they doing?
We were very worried about it at the beginning, because I know that in our industry, most of our employees coming from different countries, and means that the money they're making here, the salaries they have in here, also supporting their families and at the back home, which when the shortage of the money, the businesses are closed, it did put a lot of pressure on their mental welfare. The most of our employees also benefit from the tips, which is another additional income to their money, and there was no tips available because the restaurant was closed. So there was a lot of concern. It was very difficult to see them worrying for the future, but we did tell them that we will help them every way is possible, and we will never ever abandon them. I think the most concern above the money, because there was a furlough scheme in place which gave them this support thanks to the government, but they just didn't want to lose their job. That was the main concern, because most companies out there immediately releasing their staff, redundancies, closing down restaurants, because they still didn't want to pay their national insurance contributions, pension schemes, and other liabilities comes with it. But we didn't. We give them assurance that we will redundant no one. We will continue to, even actually we did employ more, and we give them a security that when things get back to normal, they'll have the job back. This give them the security they were asking, and in return they did come back to us, and they did. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not just about employees, staff welfare. I mean, it was personal welfare of me. I mean, I'm just individual as much as they are. They can just walk to another restaurant and hopefully they'll find a job, but I can't just close my restaurants and find another restaurant. The stress on us was higher because we had the liabilities, we had the borrowings, we had our 20 years of hard work laying in there. So we had to be strong, and we have to put them in first. So it was a give and take. They did tell us a lot of good things. They just said that, boss, don't worry, we will gonna do work hard for you. We're gonna be even better. We're gonna have, so there was a lot of interaction between us during this time, and that was just amazing feeling to see we supporting one another. So thankfully we have a very nice management team. We have amazing staff that we work with us. We're all friends.
Yeah.
That's just simple is that we're all very friends. We know everybody's each other's name. We know who is who, what they do. We know what goes in their life, personal life. We offer help and support whenever we can.
Amazing. So what about for you as a leader? You know, you have this fantastic management team in place that have been able to take care of you know, the guys running through the rest of the business, and you ultimately you're still the leader. You're still kind of who everybody's looking to for the inspiration and for the way forward. How have you had to adapt as a leader during these times?
Well, we have regular meetings with our members of staff, and I try to inspire them with my stories, but I don't see myself as a leader. I'm just a member of the staff, just like them. The difference between us and them, that because I take the responsibility, because I take the risks, that makes me the person who had to make the final decisions. But we don't think that such a thing is a one-man band. This is everybody's team. We have policies in place. I cannot make a decision on my own. I'm not allowed to make a decision on my own. The decision that we have to be making for our company has to be agreed by others, which means that other members of staff, other teams. As a team, as a leader, as a person who runs this company, my job that make sure that customers pay for us are safely guarded and monitored. That means that they absolutely love our restaurant, that they think that the money they spend is worth it. And also to make sure that my management are better. They're just better. I just want them to be better at what they do, and for the same reason that I want them to come to the same mindset as me, that because I'm very passionate about what I do. I love my job. Even when I was 16 years old, my mom's friends come to house. I was the host. I used to just cook food and things like that. It's just in my blood. I just don't see anything else in me but the host the people, the entertain the people, to look after the people. That's just, I'm a very people's person. So it is in my blood to do that. I just want them to have the same passionate with me that the restaurant business, the leisure business, it's such a unique, special industry, because if one person can go to the cinema and spend £5 and watch a movie for 2 hours and they call it entertainment and they only pay £5 or £6 or £7, whatever, when they come to the restaurant and they spend £30, £40, £50, £60, God knows how much pounds that they spending for a meal that they're going to be hungry in 3 hours time. This is the true entertainment. People don't come to us just because they want to fat. They come because they want to be part of that scene. They want to be part of that enjoyment. They want to enjoy that food that we cook. And in return, they are willing to pay far more than any other entertainment they cost. So we have to acknowledge it, and we have to give that credit to the customer, that we have to feel special that they choose our restaurants to spend their hard-earning money. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
It goes always back to the money, because the money is important. We all work very hard for it and do so much for it. And when you decide to spend that money in certain brands and certain locations, those brands must acknowledge that this money that they're receiving is not just a number. It's not just numbers on a worksheet or anything like that. It is the people's hard earnings, and you have to deserve it. You have to, and to do that, you have to do what you have to do. And that means even means that you tell your manager that this is what we look at. So when you are a manager, you look at the customer's face. You go and talk to them. You tell them that they are there for them to help. You tell them how much appreciate with their business. And if there's a mistake that has happened, genuinely apologize and make it right. And that's the mindset. This is the management we have. But in terms of the leadership, if I can pass this message to my managers, and the same passion that I have to my managers, then that's just my job done. Because I cannot do it on my own. It's impossible.
Brilliant. So if you had to pick one thing over the course of the last year that if you could go back knowing what you know now, if you could go back to, you know, when these announcements came out and we knew that we had to start closing restaurants, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would have done differently or done sooner?
Well, I've been asked that question before, and my answer to this is I wouldn't change anything in my business. I think that our business and our business model is perfect for what we are and what we do, and because we are genuine and we make mistakes and we just change in time. The one thing that I will have done to offer a booking facility, because as a traditionally Lucia's restaurants never did take bookings, reservations, and there was a reason for that. Most people think that we didn't take reservations because we didn't have to, but it was quite actually opposite. When you take reservations that allocate a certain time for the table, and the table doesn't turn up, or they come late, or they take their time, the turnover of the table is very limited. For example, if somebody booked a table at 7 o'clock, by the time they finish at 9 o'clock, the chances that you sell in table at 9 o'clock is very little. It means that you only have one turnover of that table, which then you have to reflect that turnover into the prices. Means that you have to charge more to customers to meet with the overheads. But instead we did have first come, first serve basis, which allow us to do a better table turnover, better table management. And that means that we can lower our price. We don't have to charge more because we have a high turnover coming in. So this was the reason we didn't do reservations. But what we didn't know, that the certain type of clientele that we were always wanted them to come did not come to our restaurants because they wanted to have some assurance that when they get there, there was a table available. Some people didn't appreciate it, just waited around the bar for the next table to become available. And as a result of it, some trust has been lost in between us and them. But they never given up on us. It's just that they always wanted to come to us. It's just they choose somewhere else because they wanted to know that there is a booking. They wanted to go to a restaurant, that the table was ready and everything, which we are doing now since the pandemic started. So we are not taking reservations. We are taking bookings. And we honor anybody who would like to organize their evening in advance. What we have seen our old customers, our original customers that we might have lost years ago are coming back to us. The clientele that we are having is just lovely. It's the clientele that we are after, because we were before Lucia as quite a touristic location. It was just more outsiders coming in, going in and everything. And the locals did not have a chance to dine because we're just too busy with the tourists and visitors coming to UK. We now more focus on with York people and surrounding us, basically us. It's just us now. It's us and they reserve a table. We book weeks and weeks. For example, Lucia right now is booked for 5-6 weeks in advance. It's just lovely to see that our original people, our true friends from York and surrounding cities and places are coming back to us, and they have the table ready for them when they arrive. So bookings, I wish we have done the bookings far more before, but who knew?
Who knew? And you've got that loyal community, like you say, that's just, you know, that's back, that's completely there for you guys.
Yes.
So what does the future look like for you guys?
For us, future is bright. Future is to tell again, I don't want to be big-headed, but I always believe that claim what belongs to you, own what's rightfully yours. Therefore, from that moment that Lucia is a successful restaurant, our restaurants are successful restaurants for a reason. So in that manner, I take the credit. So the future is bright. Future is for the Lucias and the Cut and Craft or White Rose Group to be recognized in the UK. I believe that our brands will be recognizable. Every members of UK citizen in the UK. We will be seen whether it's a Lucia or the Cut and Craft concept or another concept that we created. Every location in UK, and ultimately I have personal two locations that I would like to achieve. This is something that I would like to achieve in the next 10, 15 years. One in Dubai and one in Barcelona, because those are my favorite cities.
Wow.
So we will open one in Dubai and one in Barcelona at some point. The future is to show the large corporations that you cannot do this. You cannot buy the same product that I buy and charge the customers 3, 4, 5, 6 times more just because you can. So you cannot. To show the big brands and large corporations that wherever we go, that we are a threat to them, we are gonna lower our prices to the genuine level that you will no longer will be able to rip your customers. You cannot do that, and it's just wrong in every direction. And also to educate the customers that please don't spend your money on a company that I'm not saying that don't. I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm just saying that if you have a choice to spend your money locally, independently, then please choose do so. Because these people are genuine and they work really hard. They're not a large corporations. They don't have a concept of opening brands, and when they hit the rock a little bit and just dispose everything alongside with all the employees that they have, every properties that they have, just throw everything and open another one, and fair trashing the fairy tailing the story, selling the same story over back and back again. So educate the customers that don't spend your money with the larger corporations because they don't necessarily, I don't know, this is going to come back to mine at some point, but they might necessarily care about you.
Yeah.
But we do.
Yeah.
Because we know the Mr. Johnson from the next door. I see the customers walking on my car park. I see them on the street. They know me, they email me, they call me personally. They said, Oscar, this was not acceptable. This was just too much. And I called them back and I did like, I'll tell them, they want to be able to do this. But it's their business model and they sell convenience. They just sell convenience because you're in the location and you know that brand before and you just want to walk in, you know that what they do, but they just sell the convenience. But give a try to locals. Give a try the restaurant you never heard of before.
Yeah.
Give a try. Be open-minded.
Absolutely. Oh, Oscar, thank you so much. Thank you so much for chatting with us this morning and sharing your stories and being so honest. I'm certainly going to continue to champion you guys and be a raving fan. So yeah, now you've said that you're booked up for 6 weeks in the Cheers, I know that I'll have to get on the app and get booked.
yes, it's great. There are spaces available there and that, but one of my good friends asked a table yesterday. I have to do everything I can. It was just impossible to find a location. And I did. And again, it's another reason. I could just turn around and cancel one table and just fit in my friend. And this is my best friend that I know for 25 years. Just think how much that person could be valuable to me.
Yeah.
And I had to turn around and say, just no way. I'm so sorry. I will not gonna squeeze another table into you and destroy someone else's experience because you want to come. You left it too late. You didn't tell me on time. I'm sorry. You're going to wait like others. So I think that's just to summarize the attitude that we have towards the business and towards our customers. Completely.
It really does. Thank you so much, Oscar. We really, really appreciate your time and like saying, you sharing your stories with us. It's so valuable for other business owners, other business leaders to hear these kind of stories and the positive messages that they spread. So it really means a lot to us. Thank you ever so much.
You're welcome.
Lovely. Right.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below and subscribe for all our upcoming videos or click for the next video here.